Halo is the reason we can all enjoy multiplayer on consoles nowadays. From the early days of local matches and LAN parties to the current and glorious state of Halo MCC, Halo has been synonymous with console multiplayer. We're going to rank them based on their initial release state, since the MCC has homogenized the games a fair amount. Let's see which Halo is the best in our ranking of the Halo games Multiplayer Edition. Kicking off our list is Halo 2 Anniversary. Released with the Master Chief Collection in 2014, Halo 2 Anniversary is exactly what you'd expect it to be. Halo 2 with prettier graphics. Although based on Halo 2, it plays more like Halo 4, minus the sprinting. The biggest reason for the low ranking is that the multiplayer portion of the remaster felt only half done. There were only 6 total maps at launch, and those were split between big team and arena style maps. So if you only preferred one style or the other, the game became repetitive quickly. Halo 2 Anniversary did come out with the Master Chief Collection, so if you had the game within the first few years of release, you probably couldn't find an online lobby to play anyways. It wasn't a bad game per se, but it left much to be desired. Number 6. Halo 5 Guardians. Halo 5 comes into the 6th spot on our list, but that doesn't make it a bad game, especially when it comes to developer support and content, which was maybe the best to date. Over 15 maps were added to the game for free to join the 20 that came with the base game. This included maps for the Warzone game mode too, which was basically big team battle on steroids. The maps were of course free because of the rec system, where players could buy loot boxes to give themselves new items to customize their Spartan or vehicles and weapons. Regardless, giving all players access to all the content was a good thing so that the player base was not unnecessarily divided. In terms of gameplay, Halo 5 included jetpacks similar to other FPSs released around the same time. This brought a whole new level of movement not seen before in the Halo franchise. Players had a few of the Spartan abilities from Reach to combine, plus a few new ones. Things like the ground pound, side thrusting, clambering, and sliding could be comboed together to traverse the map quickly. All of these extra abilities can be overwhelming and make the game feel less like older Halo titles and contributed to its lower ranking on this list. Number 5. Halo Combat Evolved. Halo Combat Evolved is the game that started it all. So why is it only number 5 on the list? The makers of Halo, whether it be Bungie or 343, have simply outdone themselves time and again with each new release. It doesn't mean this game doesn't forever hold a spot in our hearts, but it simply doesn't do anything better than any of its successors. Halo CE multiplayer could be clunky at times. The physics weren't anywhere near what we experienced playing in newer titles. Respawns weren't always smart in terms of keeping you out of the line of fire. The graphics, though advanced for their time, simply haven't held up, other than giving us the warm and fuzzy feeling of nostalgia when we drop into Halo CE matches in the Master Chief Collection. With that said, the maps were some of the best in the series and are still iconic for Halo. The experience is simple and we like that. It's a no-frill shooter that doesn't have a lot to stand in your way of running and gunning. We may not have been able to rank this one higher because of how great the other games in the series turned out to be, but it will always remain a classic and never fail to put a smile on our faces as we remember the roots of one of the best multiplayer games in the business. Number 4. Halo 4. As the first Halo game made by 343 Industries, Halo 4 had to deliver, and 343 succeeded. They did a great job of making it feel like a Halo game while also making it different at the same time. One way they made you feel at home was by bringing back the armor customization from Reach, but added even more options. To some, this isn't important, but it's a great way to make yourself stand out from the crowd and show off the new items you earned. The biggest difference other than new armor abilities and Promethean weapons was the addition of custom loadouts and the scoring system. The loadouts let you set up your character to suit your playstyle. You got to pick everything from weapons to armor abilities. This adds to the experience, but definitely makes you feel like you're playing a different game, especially with the addition of ordnance drops and how the score is added up. No doubt it's a great game, and we're not saying these additions are bad, but they do pull you away from the feel of the original games. Number 3. Halo Reach. What would become Bungie's final contribution to the ever-growing Halo series, Reach could have been the forgotten middle child after the success of Halo 2 and 3. However, the new additions to the game allowed it to hold its own against its strong siblings. Reach was the first game to bring us armor abilities including Sprint, Armor Lock, Jetpack, Hologram, Active Camo, Drop Shield, and Evade. These abilities gave Spartans a leg up on the opponents in certain situations and introduced a new element of strategy into multiplayer matches that we hadn't seen before. This was of course greeted with some controversy from veteran Halo players because it took away from the simplistic and purist-friendly experience of the first games. But ultimately, we think Bungie's attempt to spice up the game with armor abilities was a success that made Reach a unique multiplayer experience and a memorable game. One more plus to Reach was the armor customization. As you earned more experience in the game, you unlock a huge variety of different armor like helmets, chest pieces, shoulders, legs, visors, and even special armor decorations, which add a sense of identity to your characters. It gave us another incentive to play more to unlock cool new armor pieces. It's nearly impossible to put Reach at the top of this list because of its predecessors, but it does make a strong argument and remains one of our favorites to this day. Number 2, Halo 2. After the resounding success of Halo CE, Bungie had the tough task of one-upping themselves in the sequel. With the introduction of Xbox Live, they succeeded. This new era of online matchmaking brought a whole new level of video game competition and proving who's the best player in your group of friends. Online gaming has since become a staple in the Halo franchise and gaming in general, but made its mark with Halo 2. If there's one word to describe Halo 2's multiplayer, it's smooth. That includes everything from the movement to the maps and the weapons. The energy sword was at its peak. Unlimited ammo, so to speak, and an effective range longer than some of the guns made the energy sword an extremely strong weapon. Dual wielding of weapons was introduced, and although it wasn't always the best choice, it gave players options when they couldn't find a power weapon. Hijacking enemy vehicles was added to the game and gave players the ability to take on hostile vehicles. Being released in 2004, there was no room for excessive graphics, so maps were clear of extra clutter and debris to get your character caught on or to impair your vision. Halo 2 offered new maps for arena combat like Ascension, Lockout, and Sanctuary, while also bringing quality big team maps like Coagulation and Zanzibar. There was extensive variety that offered players plenty of maps and mode choices for how they wanted to play. This game also featured a lot of unique jump spots and is known for its many button glitches like BXR that you could add to your combat arsenal should you choose to do so. If Halo 2 wasn't your favorite, then it's probably our number 1 pick. Number 1, Halo 3. Though Halo 2 was where it all started, Bungie was able to outdo themselves when it came to the online multiplayer for Halo 3. Bungie added many new features to enhance how Halo functioned online, including new armor equipment such as the infamous Bubble Shield, new game modes like Griffball and Infection, and a bunch of new maps. Halo 3, like Halo Reach, was also where the snipers game type really stood out. Unlike the later games that expected you to run around and use your sniper as a single barrel shotgun, you had to be strategic while playing on huge open maps and actually use your scope, like a sniper rifle. A whole new list of maps was added as well. And yes, this happens with every new game, but Halo 3 had some of the most iconic multiplayer maps to date. We're talking about Valhalla, Last Resort, Snowbound, The Pit, and the list goes on. We're not saying there aren't other great maps in the series, but these maps and their variants were where we spent most of our online career. This game was also the first to have the Forge world, where you could build your own map and use it for custom matches. Each Halo has had its pros and cons, but no matter which one you prefer, the Halo franchise is undoubtedly time well spent. So which Halo multiplayer ate up all your free time? Let us know in the comments. While you're here, why not check out one of these videos right here?